What was it that motivated you to start SVEC?
First, I was really hesitant, but I saw an opportunity to not only help someone else make their vision a reality, but also put my voice on it and ensure that someone's voice like mine was going to be heard. Which, looking back a year and a half later, I'm very glad I did.
I mean, I found out about SVEC through like a friend of a friend who had recommended me for it. And I mean, like getting involved in voter empowerment or student voter empowerment, like was never something I thought I could do. Like it was never an opportunity that was presented to me. I didn't know that like kids my age could do that. And what made me want to stay, I guess, since I found out about it sort of by chance, was going to that first meeting and hearing kids my age talk so passionately about what they were doing, and that just inspired me so much and has continued to inspire me like throughout the whole time I've been with SVEC, just getting to listen to kids my age talk about what they're passionate about and also like act on it and affect change for things that they care about.
At the time that I joined, I was still 16, so I was pretty far away from being able to even register to vote. And there was like a ton of big local elections, and then of course the presidential election that were coming up. And it really bothered me that I couldn't actually vote. So I found out about, at the time it was called VOTE, now it's called SVEC, through one of my friends in a club that we were part of at school. And I knew that that was probably the solution to my grievances against not being able to vote. And so I decided to come to a meeting, and then I just kept coming.
Yeah, I got involved through Peter Quinn, who was a president of another club that I was in, and he recommended SVEC to me because he told me it was a group of students who were passionate about increasing civic engagement among young people who show up to the polls at a much lower rate than a lot of different demographic groups. And so I was really interested in, just partly because as a young person, I feel like our voice isn't really heard and adults don't really care about us that much because we can't vote, and I personally can't vote. So I was really interested in getting young people who can vote to vote and getting young people involved in other ways in our government.
How would you say that you've benefited or learned from this experience?
A lot. One of the ways that I've benefited is I feel like my confidence has just like skyrocketed. I've gotten so much more comfortable voicing my opinions with other people who I think are just like super smart. I'm like less intimidated, and I just feel like my confidence has skyrocketed, and like I'm going out into the world comfortable voicing my opinions and like speaking intellectually with other people about things I care about.
I learned a lot about sharing your opinion and like networking, kind of. Not exactly networking, but it's like getting to know people and how they can support your team or how you can support their team, either way. I just learned a lot about sharing my opinion. Like almost nothing bad can happen from sharing your ideas or your opinions about a project. I learned a lot about speaking up.
I think the biggest benefit is, for the first time, is like adults who want to let you take hold of things and really let the young people take the lead. And I think it sort of forced me to take initiative and be more confident in myself and give me like a drive, a go-getter sense. And the adults really fostered a dream big. We can support you in whatever way that we can, and you can do what you want. And so I think the main benefit is just having the support of adults who let me do my thing and gaining confidence and a drive. And I think I learned from it. I learned about different ways to get involved in our community. Having role models and seeing things that they're doing really inspired me. And I might have mentioned this, but also it really taught me a lot about my community. I've learned so much about Fort Worth and Tarrant County in general.
Just civic engagement in general, or just about civics. Obviously, I would know about elections or going out to vote and things of that nature, but when looking about how do you register kids in schools, how do you get to be a volunteer deputy registrar to register people to vote, and all these different processes. That's one thing, but also the confidence about taking your own initiative, letting your voice be heard, and doing something that you can be proud of and call your own, but also call for a greater good.
Would you encourage other students to join SVEC, and if so, why?
Yes, I absolutely would. I think it's a really great way to be involved with your local community, but also it does build up to your national community, even if you don't see it directly. You know, your local elections turn into your bigger elections. So I think it's a really great way to get involved with your community, because sometimes as a high school student, it's really daunting to try to see how you can make change, but sometimes just registering like 5 people to vote can really make a huge difference.
Yeah, I've encouraged a lot of my friends to join SVEC simply because I know a lot of young people are passionate about type of stuff like this, and this is the opportunity for them to do their own thing and to actually take action instead of just talking about politics or having discussion groups. This is a way to actually get involved in the community and make change.
Of course, 100% I would. I mean, you have so many different opportunities in SVEC, whether that is if you want to be front and center, meeting with people and constantly interacting and socializing, but there's also aspects of doing research or being in a tech area where you still get all this information, you still learn, you're still part of these meetings, but doing things that makes you comfortable. And there's no one single thing you do. Like, I spoke a lot, I've done interviews and stuff like that, but I also did research whenever I was asked to, or in order to speak about a certain subject, I had to learn more about the technology behind it and stuff like that. And so 100% I would have people join SVEC, because there is a place for you, and even if you don't think there is, you have every absolute ability to create whatever you want, and people will love and support you and help guide you through it.
Yeah, I would absolutely encourage students to join SVEC, even if it's not something they've ever considered. No harm can come from learning about the electoral process. And I think young people should be educated about that, and this is a great way to do it. And it's a great way to make connections and meet young people and adults who are passionate and knowledgeable about what they're doing. And I just feel like it's such a great opportunity to just learn, and you can take in so much knowledge, but then you also get to exercise that knowledge, put it into practice and do these amazing things and see in real time how you're affecting change. So
When you think about all the different things that we covered earlier, all of your accomplishments and the different things that SVEC contributed, which was your favorite project?
I think the mayoral candidate forum was the one that stuck out to me the most, because that was the first one that I really got involved in. And I first of all learned so much about Fort Worth by taking the lead and researching the questions. And I think it was so cool to talk to the mayoral candidates. And after coming away from that forum, I worked on a mayoral campaign, and it really just opened my eyes to what these people are saying about Fort Worth. And I think we got a lot of students and teachers, and all of the people I talked to said it was super interesting and they were super engaged in the forum. And so I think it was one of our most successful projects.
My favorite project was probably Empowerment Week in general, just coming together and creating a social media plan and how we're going to have young people interact and learn about civic engagement and civic education, while also getting something out of it as well. Was very interesting, and it was a long, tedious process. But that also opened up a lot of opportunities for SVEC and for March to the Polls, and especially young people. I got the immense privilege of being in the Dallas Morning News and speaking with Craig Melvin on MSNBC, and just obviously I got that insane opportunity, but rather just not looking back at it as oh, I did this, I did that. It's what I heard afterwards that made me feel so good, and all those different meetings and stress and anxiety that I had for weeks on end, seeing people be involved and doing exactly what we wanted to, that was the best feeling in the world. And for sure, Empowerment Week. And also, I got to know our SVEC team a lot better too, because we were all on top of each other again, finding a role for yourself all across the way. So yeah.
I would say Empowerment Week 2020 was my favorite thing that we did. It was a social media campaign to get people registered, and we worked with businesses and like sports teams and hosted giveaways on our Instagram. And what I liked so much about that initiative was I just felt like every single student in our group got to like shine and show what their strength was in some way. Like we just saw every single student contributing in a different way. And like that to me really encapsulated what is so special about this group. It's like not everyone brings the same thing to the table, but when you come together over this like common interest and common goal of getting young people out to the polls and registered to vote, it's like everyone gets a chance to make some part of themselves shine and in a really great way. So that was by far my favorite project because I felt like I just got to see different sides of all the students in our group.
I really liked the mayoral candidate forum. I learned so much about the candidates during that. And it really just helped me learn how to put together something as big as that and how to like, what are my talents in that type of situation. And I also just feel like that's, out of all the projects that I was involved in, that's what reached the most people. And I just feel like it really helped a lot of people who may not have been able to learn about the candidates in any other event because maybe they weren't invited or they didn't know about it. It helped them like get connected and closer to those candidates.